All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we are diving deep into some serious wisdom.
Oh, yeah?
We're talking about the one and only Jim Rohn.
A legend.
A legend. In the world of personal development, at least, we found this YouTube video
Okay.
packed with his advice, and I'm already thinking we're going to need notebooks for this one.
You know what I love about Jim Rohn is that he was so good at
Yeah.
taking those like really complicated ideas
Mm-hmm.
and breaking them down into super practical steps anyone can use. And this video,
Yeah.
it's all about habits. Small, consistent habits.
So not like massive life overhaul.
Nope. The sneaky kind that end up revolutionizing your life without you even realizing it at first.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, he starts off with this habit of
Yeah.
reading.
Okay, but not just ANY reading.
Right. This isn't about just scrolling through headlines or whatever. It's about
Yeah.
actively feeding your mind
Yeah.
with stuff that makes you grow.
So, like, ditch the doom scrolling and pick up a biography of someone who inspires you instead?
Exactly. Jim Rohn, he actually compares it to
Yeah.
choosing good food for your brain. Like instead of junk food, you're picking
Okay.
the nutritious stuff.
Yeah.
And he has this really powerful analogy. He says reading is like absorbing like a lifetime of someone's lessons.
Whoa.
But you get it in just a few hours.
That is a good way to put it. It really is like a fast track to learning. I mean, just imagine you get to
Yeah.
peek into the experiences of someone who's already achieved what you want to.
Right. And just like if you're investing money consistently, you get that compound interest, right?
Yeah.
Well, reading is kind of like compounding knowledge.
I like that, compounding knowledge. So the more you read,
Yeah.
the more you understand, and that gives you an edge in pretty much
How about
any part of your life.
100%.
It's true, though. If you're always learning, you're going to stand out at work. Make better decisions in your relationships. Even just navigate life feeling more confident.
Yeah.
What areas are you most interested in right now? I mean, imagine finding a book by the top expert in
Oh, yeah.
that field. It'd be like having a personal mentor.
It really would.
Mhm.
And even if, you're not a huge e-book person,
Yeah.
there are so many ways to get good content now. Podcasts, articles, even documentaries.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next up on Jim Rohn's habit list is one I'm actually pretty decent at, journaling. Although, full disclosure, sometimes it feels like I'm just
Yeah.
rambling.
I get that. But Jim Rohn, he actually thinks those rambly thoughts
Really?
can be super valuable.
Huh.
It's like, when you have a messy room and it stresses you out?
Oh, for sure.
He compares journaling to cleaning that room up, but for your mind.
Yeah.
Like you take all that clutter in your head,
Yeah.
put it on paper, and suddenly things are clearer.
I do always feel so much lighter after I journal. It's like not just the thoughts are cleared out, but my emotions too.
And that clarity you get
Yeah.
helps in other parts of your life too.
Yeah.
Have you noticed like it helps you make decisions better?
That's funny you say that because, yeah, now that you mention it,
Yeah.
when I'm super unsure about something, writing it down helps me get to the bottom of
Right.
what the real issue is. Then
Yeah.
I can make a choice that feels right.
It's like this powerful tool for like figuring yourself out and
Yeah.
growing as a person.
Mm.
And it's not just for emotions either. It's great
Yeah.
for tracking your progress toward your goals too.
Mhm.
Imagine looking back and seeing how far you've come. Talk about motivation.
I love that. Keeping a record of your journey. Okay, you've convinced me. Journal more is going on the to-do list.
I think we could all use a little more journaling. And the best part, it doesn't even have to
Yeah.
take that much time. Even 5-10 minutes
Oh, for sure.
makes a difference.
Okay, speaking of making a difference, up next on Jim Rohn's list
Yeah.
is setting daily goals. I've always been a big picture, like yearly goal kind of person, but I'm open to hearing what he has to say about this.
Well, Jim Rohn thought that setting goals, even daily ones,
Mm-hmm.
it was like giving your life direction. Like a ship with a sail.
Okay, yeah.
With clear goals, you move forward with purpose.
So instead of those huge goals that feel impossible,
Yeah.
it's about asking yourself each morning, what one thing can I do today
Exactly.
to get closer to my dream?
You got it. It's about breaking down those big things into small steps,
I see.
like a roadmap for your day. Helps you stay on track, especially when things get crazy.
I get that, for sure. But how do we know if the daily goals we're setting are even good ones?
Well, Jim Rohn would say,
Yeah.
be specific. Instead of just saying, I want to be healthier, you say,
Okay.
I'm going to walk for 30 minutes today, or I'm going to eat more veggies,
Oh, I'm starting to see how this could change my whole approach to this. It's like making those big, vague dreams
Yeah.
have an actual way to happen. What about you? What's one specific goal you want to hit today?
Ooh, good question. You know what? I'm going to finish that book I started. It's been
Oh,
sitting there forever.
I'm going to reach out to that mentor I've been meaning to connect with, been putting it off, but
Awesome.
today's the day.
I love it. This whole goal setting thing, it works for
Wow.
anything. Your personal projects, work stuff, relationships, everything. It's about action, not just wishing.
Mind blown. This is already making me rethink things. And it's funny. I used to think personal development was all about these
Yeah.
huge life-altering changes. But what Jim Rohn's showing me
hmm
is that it's the small stuff done consistently
It really is.
that matters most. And speaking of small but mighty, let's talk about gratitude.
Oh, yes. Gratitude was like the foundation of so much of what Jim Rohn believed in.
For real?
Oh, yeah. He was all about how what you focus on, it expands. And it's not about
Yeah.
being naive or ignoring the bad stuff, but it's about choosing to see the good.
Intentionally.
Yes. And that changes your whole outlook.
Okay, so it's not about waiting to be grateful until I win the lottery or something.
Right. It's about finding those tiny moments of appreciation,
Hmm.
like every single day. A good cup of coffee, the sun shining, a kind word from someone,
I see.
even just that you woke up healthy.
I used to think all that gratitude stuff was kind of cheesy. Yeah. But then I went through a really rough time and I started keeping a gratitude journal
Oh, wow.
just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
It actually really shifted things for me. Instead of dwelling on the bad stuff, I started noticing the good, even if it was small. Slowly, my mood actually
Wow. That's powerful.
started getting better.
It really is amazing. It's like training your brain to see the good,
Yeah.
instead of always focusing on what's missing.
For sure. And it's not about pretending everything's perfect, but it's about
Right.
choosing to see what you do have, and that can be really powerful.
It's like instead of watering the weeds in your mind,
Okay.
you're choosing to water the flowers.
Okay. That is a good way to put it. I'm officially on the gratitude train now.
I love to hear that.
What else can we do to bring in more of that gratitude besides the journaling?
Well, even just making the effort to notice good things throughout the day is huge.
Okay.
Savor that good meal or when your favorite song comes on. Just little moments.
Like pressing pause on autopilot for a second.
Yes. And you can even bring gratitude into your conversations. Instead of complaining, try sharing something you're grateful for.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's like gratitude can be contagious, right?
Absolutely. It creates this ripple effect of positivity.
I'm noticing even through this conversation, amidst all the, challenges we face,
Yeah,
there's always something to be grateful for.
always. And that's what a growth mindset is all about. It's seeing that even in tough times, there's still good to be found.
So we've got feeding our minds, clearing out the mental clutter, setting those specific goals, and now gratitude. What other life-changing habits does Jim Rohn have for us?
Okay, this next one might surprise you, especially in this always hustle world we live in.
Oh.
Jim Rohn was a big believer in rest.
Wait, hold up. You're telling me I shouldn't be working 24/7?
Haha, I know, right? It almost sounds rebellious
Seriously?
in our culture. But he thought rest, it wasn't weakness,
Oh.
it was essential. He said it's about working smart, not just hard.
So it's not about burning ourselves out. It's about
Yes.
taking time to actually be more productive.
Think about it. When you're exhausted,
Oh, yeah.
you make bad decisions, you're not creative, you mess up more.
True, true. But I gotta be honest, rest is something I struggle with.
It's hard.
I feel guilty if I'm not constantly doing something.
So many of us feel that way. We're programmed to think busy equals good.
Mhm.
But Jim Rohn was on to something.
What's that?
Sometimes our best ideas, they come when we're not actively trying to think.
That is so true. Like, I'll be stuck on a problem and then the
Yeah.
solution pops into my head when I'm in the shower or something.
It's like your subconscious mind is working on it in the background.
Hmm.
And when we rest, we come back to things fresh.
Okay, I'm seeing the light here. But what does rest actually look like?
It's not just sleep, although that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's about finding things that recharge you.
Okay.
Maybe it's nature, music, reading, just doing nothing at all. What recharges you?
Sometimes I just need permission to sit on the couch and just
Exactly. And setting boundaries too, saying no to things that drain you.
That's true. It's about choosing how you spend your time and energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about filling your cup so you can show up as your best self.
That's it, exactly. It's funny, I used to think personal development was all about these
Yeah.
massive life-altering changes. But through Jim Rohn, I'm learning. It's the small, consistent stuff that matters most. Oh, and speaking of small but powerful,
Yeah.
let's talk about gratitude.
Ah, yes, gratitude. This was a cornerstone of Jim Rohn's philosophy. He often emphasized that what you focus on expands. It's not about being naive or ignoring challenges. It's about intentionally directing your attention to the good in your life, which can have a surprisingly powerful effect on your outlook and your overall well-being.
So it's not just about feeling grateful for the big things, like landing a dream job or winning the lottery.
Right. It's about finding those little moments of appreciation throughout your day. The warm sunshine on your face, a delicious cup of coffee, a kind word from a stranger, or even just the fact that you woke up healthy and breathing.
I have to admit, I used to be pretty cynical about all this gratitude stuff. I thought it was a bit cheesy and superficial. But then I went through a really tough time in my life, and I started keeping a gratitude journal just to see if it would make any difference.
And what did you discover?
I was shocked at how much it shifted my perspective. Instead of dwelling on all the negative things happening, I started noticing the small glimmers of good. And slowly but surely, my overall mood and outlook started to improve.
It's amazing how powerful that simple act of acknowledging the good can be, isn't it? It's like training your brain to focus on abundance instead of scarcity.
Exactly. And it's not about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring real problems. It's about choosing to focus on what you have rather than what you lack, which can be incredibly empowering.
It's like you're choosing to water the flowers instead of the weeds in your mental garden.
That's a beautiful analogy. Okay, I'm officially a gratitude convert. What are some other ways we can cultivate more gratitude in our daily lives, aside from journaling?
Well, you could start by simply making a conscious effort to notice and appreciate the good things throughout your day. Maybe it's the delicious smell of dinner cooking or the sound of your favorite song on the radio. Just take a moment to pause and savor those little things that bring you joy.
I love that. It's like pressing the pause button on autopilot and actually being present in the moment.
Exactly. And you could even try incorporating gratitude into your conversations. Instead of just complaining about your day, challenge yourself to share something you're grateful for with a friend or family member.
It's amazing how contagious gratitude can be. When you share your appreciation with others, it often inspires them to do the same, creating this ripple effect of positivity. And you know what? This conversation about gratitude has made me realize that even in the midst of challenges, there's always something to be thankful for. It's just a matter of choosing to focus on it.
And that, my friend, is the essence of a growth mindset. It's about recognizing that even in difficult times, there are opportunities for learning, growth, and appreciation.
Okay, so we've talked about feeding our minds with nutritious content, decluttering our thoughts through journaling, setting specific goals, getting our bodies moving, and cultivating gratitude. What other life-changing habits does Jim Rohn have up his sleeve?
Well, this next one might seem counterintuitive, especially in our always-on hustle culture, but Jim Rohn was a big advocate for rest and relaxation.
Wait, you're telling me I shouldn't be working 24/7? This goes against everything I've been taught.
I know, right? It seems almost radical in our society that prizes productivity above all else. But Jim Rohn believed that rest is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It's an essential ingredient for success. He often said that it's about working smart, not just hard.
So it's not about burning ourselves out trying to do everything at once. It's about taking time to recharge so we can actually be more productive in the long run.
Exactly. Think about it when you're exhausted and depleted. Your decision-making skills suffer, your creativity plummets, and you're more likely to make mistakes. But when you prioritize rest, you're giving your mind and body the chance to recover and come back stronger.
That makes a lot of sense. But I have to admit, I struggle with this one. I often feel guilty when I'm not working or being productive.
I think a lot of us feel that way. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness. But Jim Rohn reminds us that some of our best ideas and insights often come when we're not actively trying to think. Maybe it's while we're taking a walk, showering, or just relaxing with a good book.
You know, that's actually so true. I can't tell you how many times I've been struggling with a problem, and then the solution pops into my head when I'm doing something completely unrelated to work.
It's like our subconscious mind is working on those problems in the background while we're giving our conscious mind a break. And when we allow ourselves that space and time to recharge, we come back to those challenges with fresh perspectives and renewed energy.
Okay, I'm starting to see the wisdom in this. But what does rest actually look like? Does it always have to be sleep?
Not necessarily. It's really about finding activities that truly recharge you. For some people, it might be taking a nap or getting a full night's sleep. For others, it might be spending time in nature, listening to music, reading a book, meditating, or just doing absolutely nothing at all.
That's so helpful. I think I've been putting too much pressure on myself to have these elaborate relaxation rituals. Sometimes I just need to give myself permission to sit on the couch and do nothing.
Exactly. And, rest can also be about setting boundaries and saying no to things that drain your energy. It's about protecting your time and prioritizing activities that nourish your mind, body, and soul.
I love that. It's about being intentional with how we spend our time and energy, making sure we're filling our cup so we can show up as our best selves.
Beautifully said. And speaking of filling our cups, Jim Rohn had some interesting insights on the power of giving.
Now, this is something I'm always working on. It's not always easy, but I've found that it's always worth it. What was Jim Rohn's perspective on giving?
Well, he was a firm believer in the principle that the more you give, the more you receive. But he emphasized that it's about the mindset, not a transaction. It's about approaching giving with a genuine spirit of generosity without expecting anything in return.
I love that. It's not about keeping score or trying to manipulate the universe into giving us something back. It's about contributing to something bigger than ourselves and making a positive impact on the world around us.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be about money either. It can be about giving your time, your skills, your attention, or even just a kind word to someone who needs it.
I've found that even the smallest acts of kindness can have a ripple effect, creating a chain reaction of positivity that extends far beyond the initial act. Remember that time I helped that elderly woman carry her groceries? It turned out she was a retired teacher, and we ended up having this amazing conversation about the importance of education.
That's a perfect example. You never know how a simple act of kindness might impact someone's life, or even your own.
Okay, so we've covered reading, journaling, setting goals, exercise, gratitude, rest, and giving. What's next on Jim Rohn's list of life-changing habits?
This one might seem deceptively simple, but it's often overlooked in our fast-paced world. Listening. Jim Rohn was a huge proponent of becoming a truly attentive listener. He believed it was a powerful way to build trust and respect in relationships.
That makes a lot of sense, but I have to be honest, listening is something I really struggle with. I'm often so caught up in my own thoughts that I'm not fully present in conversations.
I think that's a common experience in today's world, especially with all the distractions we're constantly bombarded with. But as Jim Rohn pointed out, most people are so focused on waiting for their turn to speak that they don't truly listen to what the other person is saying. And when we fail to truly listen, we miss out on valuable information, insights, and opportunities for connection.
You're so right. I've noticed that when I'm really present and listening to someone, not just waiting for my turn to talk, the conversation flows so much more effortlessly, and we both feel more understood and connected.
It's like you're creating a space for genuine dialogue and understanding rather than just a back and forth exchange of information. And that deeper level of listening can transform our relationships with our partners, friends, family members, and colleagues.
So it's not just about hearing the words, it's about really paying attention to the message behind them. It's about noticing their body language, their tone of voice, the emotions they're expressing.
Exactly. It's about tuning in to the whole person, not just their words. And when you do that, you're communicating a level of respect and empathy that can strengthen bonds and deepen connections.
I love that. It's about truly seeing and hearing the person in front of you, acknowledging their experiences and perspectives as valid and important.
And it's not just about the other person either. When you're fully present and listening attentively, you're more likely to absorb new information, gain new insights, and broaden your own perspective.
It's like you're opening yourself up to a world of learning and growth that you might have otherwise missed.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of practicing active listening. It not only benefits the person being listened to, but also enriches the listener's experience.
Okay, I'm definitely going to make a conscious effort to be a better listener from now on. What are some practical tips for improving our listening skills?
Well, one of the most effective strategies is to simply put away your phone and any other distractions. Give the person your full attention, making eye contact and using nonverbal cues like nodding to show that you're engaged.
That's a great point. It's so easy to get sidetracked by notifications and emails, but those can wait. Being present in the moment is so much more important. What other tips do you have?
Another helpful technique is to resist the urge to interrupt or offer solutions right away. Instead, try to really understand the other person's perspective before jumping in with your own thoughts and opinions. You can do this by asking clarifying questions, summarizing what you've heard to ensure you understand, and reflecting back their emotions to show empathy.
Those are all excellent points. And you know what? I think it's also important to remember that listening is a skill that takes practice. We're not going to be perfect at it overnight, but the more we consciously strive to be better listeners, the more natural it will become.
I couldn't agree more. It's a journey, not a destination. And speaking of journeys, let's talk about another crucial habit that Jim Rohn emphasized: patience.
Oh, this is a big one for me. I'm definitely a work in progress when it comes to patience. I tend to get impatient and want to see results immediately, which often leads to frustration and disappointment.
I think a lot of us struggle with that in today's world. We live in a culture of instant gratification. We want everything right now. But Jim Rohn wisely reminds us that anything worth having takes time. He often said, "Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals."
So it's about trusting the process and understanding that real growth and achievement rarely happen overnight.
Exactly. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the plant sprout the moment you put it in the ground. It takes time, nourishment, and consistent care for it to grow and flourish.
That's such a great analogy. It's a reminder that we need to be patient with ourselves, trust the timing of our lives, and keep putting in the work, even when we don't see immediate progress.
And, patience is not just about waiting passively for things to happen. It's about actively engaging in the process, learning from our mistakes, and continuously striving to improve.
So it's about embracing the journey, not just focusing on the destination.
Exactly. And that shift in mindset can make all the difference. When we focus on the process rather than the outcome, we're less likely to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. We can view setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth rather than as failures.
Okay, I'm starting to see how patience can be a superpower, especially in a world that's constantly pushing us to rush and strive for instant results. It's about slowing down, trusting the timing of our lives, and celebrating the small wins along the way.
Beautifully said. And that brings us to the final habit on Jim Rohn's list, and it's a powerful one: the people you surround yourself with.
Ah, this is such a crucial one. I've always believed that we become like the people we spend the most time with.
Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This highlights the profound impact our environment has on our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors.
I've definitely experienced this firsthand. When I'm surrounded by positive, supportive people who are passionate about their lives, I feel more energized, motivated, and inspired to pursue my own goals. But when I'm around negative, cynical people who are constantly complaining, it's like a drain on my energy.
It's like you're absorbing their energy, whether you realize it or not. And that can have a ripple effect on your own outlook, your mood, and even your behavior.
It's like that saying, you can't soar with eagles if you're hanging out with turkeys.
Exactly. And, it's not about judging people or cutting everyone out of your life who doesn't fit into a certain mold. It's about being intentional about who you spend the most time with and making sure that those relationships are nourishing and supportive.
So how do we actually do this? How do we find those amazing people to be around?
Well, it starts with being mindful of the company you keep. Take a look at your social circle and ask yourself, are these relationships lifting me up or holding me back? Are these people who inspire me, challenge me, and support my growth?
That's such a great question to ask ourselves. And if we realize that some of our relationships are draining our energy or holding us back, what can we do about it?
It's not always easy, but sometimes it's necessary to set boundaries or distance ourselves from relationships that are no longer serving us. And at the same time, we can actively seek out relationships with people who embody the qualities we admire.
So it's a two-pronged approach, releasing what no longer serves us and inviting in what does. But how do we actually find those inspiring, supportive people?
It's about putting yourself out there, expanding your social circle, and creating opportunities for connection. Join clubs or organizations that align with your interests. Attend workshops or conferences. Volunteer for a cause you're passionate about. Or even strike up conversations with strangers who seem interesting.
I love that. It's about being proactive and taking ownership of our social lives rather than just passively accepting whatever comes our way. And, it's not just about what we can gain from these relationships either. It's about what we can contribute.
Absolutely. Be the kind of friend you'd want to have. Be supportive, encouraging, and a positive force in the lives of others.
That's such a great reminder. The more we give, the more we receive. And when we surround ourselves with people who are committed to growth and positivity, we create an environment that nurtures our own well-being and inspires us to reach our full potential.
Beautifully said. And, this habit of surrounding ourselves with the right people is especially important when we're trying to cultivate new habits and make positive changes in our lives.
That makes perfect sense. If we're trying to eat healthier, for example, it's going to be a lot easier if we have friends who are also committed to healthy eating. We can support each other, share recipes, and hold each other accountable.
Exactly. And the same goes for any other habit we're trying to develop. Having a supportive community can make all the difference in our success.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about reading, journaling, setting goals, exercise, gratitude, rest, giving, listening, patience, and the importance of surrounding ourselves with the right people. I'm feeling incredibly inspired and a little overwhelmed, to be honest.
That's understandable. It's a
Yeah.
lot to take in. But remember, Jim Rohn emphasized that it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about starting small, choosing one habit that resonates with you, and making it a consistent part of your routine.
So maybe this week you commit to reading for 15 minutes each day or start a gratitude journal. Or perhaps you decide to be more intentional about the company you keep.
The key is to choose one habit and focus on mastering it before moving on to the next.
And remember, these small habits compound over time. The results might not be immediate, but they will come if you stay consistent.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive into Jim Rohn's wisdom, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love a good thought-provoking question. Lay it on me.
What if, instead of focusing on what you lack, you focused on mastering these habits as your strengths?
I love that. Flipping the script.
Imagine the transformation that could occur if you viewed these habits not as chores or burdens, but as tools to empower you and help you create the life you truly desire.
It's about embracing the journey of personal growth and seeing these habits as stepping stones on the path to becoming the best version of ourselves.
Exactly. And remember, this is your journey, your pace, your way. Start with one habit that speaks to you today and let the compounding begin.
This is already making me rethink my entire approach to personal development. It's
Wow.
not about some massive overhaul. It's about those small, consistent actions that, over time, can create extraordinary results. Welcome back to our deep dive, everyone. Before the break, we were talking about
Oh yeah, those people.
the people, the ones you choose to have in your life.
It's crazy how much they can actually
I know it.
shape your whole outlook.
It's like, show me your friends
Mhm.
and I'll show you your future kind of thing.
100%. If you're always around negative people, those complainers,
Ugh, the worst.
it's hard to stay positive yourself.
It's true. It's like trying to grow a garden,
Yeah.
but the soil is terrible.
Ooh, good analogy.
Yeah.
But then, when you're with people who are positive, supportive,
Oh, yeah. Those are the ones.
it's like that same garden, but the soil is rich. You're bound to thrive there.
I like that. We're creating our own little ecosystems, basically.
We are, and you get to choose who's in it.
And it's not about only being friends with people who are already, like, super successful.
Right, right.
It's about being with people who are on that journey with you.
Yeah, who get it,
Yeah.
who celebrate the wins, are
Yes.
there for the tough times, and who push you to be better.
Finding your tribe, basically.
Your tribe. Those people who just
Yeah.
make you feel seen.
And sometimes that means looking beyond your usual crowd.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe join a new club, go to a workshop, even just
Yeah.
talk to someone you wouldn't normally.
Be open to those new connections.
Your tribe could be anywhere. And you know what are the best ways
Yeah.
to attract those awesome people?
Tell me.
Be that kind of person yourself.
Ah, so it's not just about
No.
what we can get from the relationship.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's about bringing that generosity to the table, too.
Being supportive, encouraging, a positive force yourself.
Exactly. It's like we're
Yeah.
creating this
Yeah.
upward spiral. The more we give, the more we get back.
And when everyone's focused on growing and being positive,
Oh, yeah,
it lifts everyone up.
it really does. And especially, when you're trying to build those good habits,
Mm-hmm.
having the right people around makes all the difference.
I get that. Like if I'm trying to eat healthy,
Yeah.
it's way easier if my friends are into that too.
We can all support each other, right?
Right. Share recipes, keep each other accountable. Same with working out. It's more fun with a buddy.
It's like having your own personal cheerleading squad.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked about being intentional with those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about giving again. We touched on it before,
It's
but
a big one.
it is. What else did Jim Rohn say about how powerful giving is?
He talked about how it's not just about, like, money or volunteering.
Oh, okay.
It's a mindset.
Uh,
Being generous in all parts of your life.
Yeah.
Sharing your time,
Yeah.
your knowledge, even just your kindness.
Sometimes it really is those small things, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Like holding a door, giving a compliment, just listening when someone needs it.
Those tiny acts of kindness, they can totally make someone's day.
They really can. And it's like you said, those ripples, they
Yeah.
go out farther than you realize.
You never know how much you might be impacting someone
Yeah.
just by
And-
being kind.
Yeah.
And Jim Rohn, he was big on this giving. shouldn't feel like a chore.
Right.
It should be joyful.
Find those ways to give that light you up.
Yes. And you know what I've found?
Mm-hmm.
When you give from that place, it comes back tenfold.
It really does feel like that sometimes. And it's not always material things, you know, it's a deeper sense of connection, joy, purpose. Which brings me back to listening.
Oh, good one.
We talked about it for relationships, but I was thinking, what about
Yeah.
listening as a tool for, like, growing as a person?
Oh, that's good. We often think of listening as something we do for others, right?
Mhm.
But it's also about listening to yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your intuition, all that good stuff.
So being a better listener,
Yeah.
both to others and to ourselves.
You got it. It's about making space to reflect,
Mhm.
to hear those little bits of wisdom you already have inside.
I like that. But honestly, sometimes it's hard to quiet
Yeah, all that noise?
the noise. My mind's going a mile a
I
minute.
hear you. Meditation can help with that.
Okay, but I've tried that, and my brain just won't shut up.
It's a common struggle. It's not about stopping the thoughts completely.
Mhm.
It's about noticing them without judgment and letting them float on by,
Okay.
like watching clouds. You see them, but you don't cling to them.
That's a great visual. So creating space, but not being, like, harsh on myself when my mind wanders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more you practice, the easier it gets to find that calm center. And from that calm,
Yeah.
you can tap into your intuition, make better decisions, all that good stuff.
So it's not Jace T clearing your mind. It's about connecting with, like, your inner wisdom.
You got it.
I
And
think-
listening to yourself, it's not always about, sitting and meditating.
Right.
It could be paying attention to your energy levels, your emotions throughout the day.
So noticing when I need a break or when I'm feeling super inspired to work on something.
Yes. It's about honoring what you need, setting those healthy boundaries.
And sometimes that means having tough conversations,
Mm.
speaking up for myself,
Sometimes, yeah.
even setting limits with people who aren't respecting me.
Right. You deserve to be treated well by yourself and the others.
It's true. You know, this is making me realize how much I've been ignoring my
Mhm.
own WN inner voice, so focused on everyone else that I've lost touch with.
It's easy to do that, especially when you're a caring person.
Yeah. But you can't pour from an empty cup, like you said.
You got to fill your own cup first.
Exactly. And that made me think about patience again, not just with goals, but
Oh,
in
empty.
relationships too, with ourselves and with others.
Patience is often seen as passive, like you just got to wait it out.
Yeah.
But Jim Rohn saw it as active, something you choose every day.
So not just sitting around,
Yep.
but actively being patient.
It's about trusting that things have their own timing. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow.
Yeah.
But when we try to force it, that's when we get stressed.
Ugh, tell me about it. I'm a planner. I like things neat and tidy, and
I get it.
life is just not always like that.
That's where patience comes in, learning to let go of that need to control everything.
Go with the flow.
Go with the flow. And it's not just external stuff either. It's being patient with yourself too. Your growth, your progress, all that.
Man, I am so hard on myself. Like, if I make a mistake.
Oh, I get that. Our culture is obsessed with being perfect.
Mm,
But we got to give ourselves
yeah.
some grace. We're all a work in progress.
Learning and growing, like you said.
We are. So be kind to yourself, like you would to a good friend.
Okay, I like that. We're all human, doing our best with what we've got.
Exactly. And it goes for being patient with other people too, right?
Oh, for sure. Everyone's on their own path, moving at their own speed, offering that understanding, knowing we all make mistakes.
It's huge.
And we're all in this together, basically.
We are.
Yeah.
And sometimes the trickiest relationships are the ones that teach us the most.
They push you to grow.
They do. You learn to set boundaries, to forgive, to
Yeah.
really communicate.
And if you do it with patience and kindness, you come out stronger on the other side.
So much stronger. Patience really is a game changer.
It really is. Okay, so before we move on, let's circle back to that idea of
people.
the people,
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with the right ones.
Can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Remember what Jim Rohn said. You are the average
Mhm.
of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's powerful.
It really is. It's like they become part of your
Yeah.
mental and emotional landscape.
They do. So choose wisely.
Okay, but how do you actually find those people? It's not like they come with a label, good influence, add to cart.
Uh-huh. I wish. Well, it starts with, taking stock of who you're already spending time with.
Like an inventory almost.
Kinda. Are these people lifting you up
Mhm.
or dragging you down? Do they inspire you, challenge you, support your growth? Do they believe in you, even when you don't?
Wow. Those are really good questions to ask. And if you realize some of your relationships aren't really giving you what you need,
Sometimes you got to make tough choices.
set some boundaries.
Boundaries are healthy. You deserve to be around people who make you feel good.
So it's about letting go of what's not serving you
Yeah,
and making space for something better.
exactly. Make room for the relationships that bring you joy, that help you grow.
I love that. But finding those people, it's not always easy. Where do you even start?
It's about being open, you know?
Yeah.
Your tribe could be anywhere. Join a club, take a class,
Yeah.
volunteer somewhere. Just put yourself out there. You never know who you'll meet.
It's about being proactive.
Yes.
Creating those opportunities for connection.
And it's not just about what you can get, remember.
Oh, right.
Be the kind of friend you'd want to have. Be there for others. Encourage them. Be a positive force.
I like that. What goes around comes around, right?
All right. We've covered a lot of ground here when it comes to those relationships.
About being intentional.
Intentional. Choosing to surround yourself with people who lift you higher. You know, as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, I'm realizing how connected all these habits really are.
They are, aren't they? Like pieces of a
Big puzzle.
They fit together to create this, like, amazing life.
They really do.
Yeah.
And it's like they support each other, too. Right?
Yeah, like one good habit helps the other one stick.
Exactly. A positive spiral. And this is what I love about Jim Rohn. He understood that it's the small stuff done consistently that leads to big results.
Not some magical overnight transformation.
Nope. It's about those daily choices, those little steps that over time create the life you want.
And it's different for everyone, right? There's no one right way to do this.
Your journey is your own. So instead of focusing on, what you don't have, focus on building these habits, making them your strengths.
Turn those shoulds into, I can do this.
You got it. Think about how different things would be.
Yeah.
If you saw these habits not as chores,
Right.
but as the keys to unlocking the life you want.
It's like reframing personal development, making it an adventure.
An adventure. Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Okay, good. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Pick one that speaks to you, make it a daily thing, and just watch how things start to change.
This is amazing. Thank you for breaking all this down. Welcome back. It's amazing how these little habits we've been talking about
I know, right?
can make such a big difference.
It's the small things.
Jim Rohn's philosophy, it's really hitting home for me.
It's not about those big sweeping changes. It's about consistency. Tiny shifts that over time, they totally reshape your life.
And we were talking about how those changes, they're even more powerful when the people around you are on board too.
It's like you've got this support system that's growing right alongside you.
Exactly. And Jim Rohn, he was all about that idea of
You'd
you become the average of the people you hang out with the most.
Their energy, their mindsets, it all rubs off on
It
you.
makes you think twice about who you're letting into that inner circle.
For sure. It's not about judging people,
Right.
but it is about being aware of what you're letting into your life. Think of it like curating a playlist, but for your growth.
Ooh, I like that. So are we supposed to ditch all our friends who aren't, into personal development?
Nah, not necessarily. Sometimes just being aware of how certain people affect you,
Okay.
that's enough. You can still care about them without letting their, negativity hold you back.
Right, right. Makes sense. But how do you actually find those people?
Yeah.
The positive ones, the ones who are all about growth, where are they hiding?
If I had the answer to that, we'd be millionaires.
Yeah.
But honestly, it starts with putting yourself out there. Join a group, take a class, volunteer,
Okay.
do things that light you up.
Speaking of lighting you up, I feel like passion is a big part of it. When you're genuinely excited about something,
100%.
you just attract people who are on the same wavelength.
Passion, it's contagious, and it's attractive.
Yeah.
People want to be around that energy.
All right, so we've covered reading, journaling, goals, exercise, gratitude, rest, giving, listening, patience, and the power of who we surround ourselves with. Did we miss anything from Jim Rohn?
I think we hit all the big stuff from this video. But what's cool is how it all works together. It's not just a list, it's a way of thinking.
A growth mindset.
Exactly. Always getting better. Jim Rohn had this great saying.
Yeah.
Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals.
I love that. It's not about some secret trick. It's about showing up and doing the work day after day.
And not comparing yourself to others either.
Well, that's a hard one.
It is. But your journey, your timeline.
Right.
They're yours. So maybe instead of focusing on what you don't have,
Yeah.
you focus on mastering these habits, making them your strengths.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking control.
You are. Imagine seeing those habits not as chores,
Mm.
but as the tools that'll help you build the life you want.
Personal development becomes less of a have to
Yeah.
and more of a like, hell yeah.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
And remember, one step at a time. Start small, pick one thing.
Yeah.
Make it a part of your routine. The rest will follow.
Well, I think we've officially unpacked all the Jim Rohn wisdom from this video. What do you think?
I think so. And I'm feeling super inspired, ready to put some of this into practice myself.
Me too. And it's not about being perfect. It's about
Progress.
progress.
Mm.
Every step forward, no matter how small, it's a win.
Exactly. It all adds up. You know, there's another Jim Rohn quote.
Whoa, hit me with it.
He said, "Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges. Wish for more wisdom."
That's a good one. It's like he's saying, don't shy away from the tough stuff. Use it to grow.
That's Jim Rohn for you. He knew that true success,
Yeah.
it's not just about what you achieve out there in the world.
Right.
It's about who you become along the way.
It's about building that inner strength, that resilience, that sense of purpose. You know, as we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave everyone with one last thought.
What's that?
What if, instead of waiting for the perfect time or the perfect situation, we just started today, right now,
Love it.
pick one small step,
Yeah.
anything that moves you toward what you want.
It could be tiny. Read for 15 minutes, write down what you're grateful for, even just send a kind text.
It's those little things done over and over that lead to big results. And at the end of the day, we all have the power to create the life we truly want. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
That's been fun.
We hope you got some good stuff out of it. And remember, even the longest journey starts with one single step. So take that step and keep going.